Hey, everybody. Welcome back again to some Austin Sports Weekend with the man, Austin, here himself. We're going to cover some bowl games. We're going to do our picks for the top 15 ranked
This
teams.
is a single at bat for a lot of these players because they're coming in for a lot of opt outs.
Yeah, no, so we were actually talking before we come on air here that the Neil and the transfer portal has sort of destroyed the bowl game series. You really don't. The team that's playing in the bowl, you've never seen it play before because half the players have transferred, and you'll never see it play again because next year you'll have the new
it could
players
be
come in.
exciting for some of these players though that
Oh,
have never played.
it's definitely exciting. I mean, as a fan, I want to see my team play, and you do get to see
What the backups are
what
made
the
of.
backup looks like, what for our situation, what next year's quarterback looks like, because we've got Nico starting for us. So
Joe Milton is not playing in our bowl game in the Citrus Bowl.
yeah, yeah.
We'll talk about our opponent when we get there.
Yeah, yeah. But before we get going, again, thanks again for Severe TV for setting us up here. Let's go ahead and jump in. There's already been one top 15 team played. We didn't get our video shot in time. Louisville played USC, and that's just a good example. USC looked horrible the last half of the
Mainly
season.
their defense looked terrible. But
And Caleb Williams decided not to play in it, so the backup quarterback came in, and they scored 42 and beat number 15 ranked Louisville.
so that tells me that
That would not have happened in the regular season. Louisville would have beat USC probably pretty handily. So it's again, you've got two totally different teams. It's hard to
and
say.
the backup quarterback, I'll give praise to him because
He
his
looked
first start
good.
6 TD passes.
6 TD passes for the USC backup quarterback.
He probably won't be a backup anymore.
He might be the starter next year. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the Thursday top 15 games. We've only got one of them. We got number 14 Arizona at number 12
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
No,
The-
Oklahoma's starting quarterback's going to be different, but Arizona's team is mainly the same, I
The
think.
Valero Alamo Bowl. Well, Arizona's actually favored in this by 2.5. It's interesting. Again, Oklahoma's going to be playing some backup people, but Arizona's just about the same team. They had some portal transfers.
It's amazing that how quickly Arizona was rebuilt in like 2 years. Back
Yeah.
in 2 years ago, they were just pitiful.
And now they're not going to be in the Pac-12 anymore.
And now they're going to
No more
be
Pac-12.
10-3 possibly with a bowl win. A 10-win season now 2 years
A
after
10-win season.
after all that.
Do you think Arizona beats Oklahoma?
There's a good chance because Dylan Gabriel is off to Oregon right now. He's going to replace Bo Nix in Oregon.
Yep, so Oklahoma is playing with a backup quarterback. But a backup quarterback came in USC and trounced Louisville. But I'm with you. I would probably speak the stability
Of Arizona because
of
Oklahoma
Arizona.
doesn't have their starting QB in, so that's a big key.
Yeah.
For me
And
picking
this-
Arizona.
And he didn't just opt out for the NFL and he's on the sideline cheering you on. He left the team to go to somebody else. So that's a little bit of something there, you know. So, yeah, we'll take a look at Arizona in that one. And then coming up next, we got Friday night football. This one actually should be pretty good. Missouri,
and Ohio State.
Ohio State, and the Goodyear Cotton Bowl.
Will Marvin Harrison
Classic.
Jr. play? That will be an ultimately determinator.
That will be. Missouri had a really, really, really good defense this year. Their offense was pretty good. Their defense was really, really good.
And then Ohio State had a struggling offense, but it had a solid defense all year.
Yeah. Ohio State is favored by about 3.5 in this. But
Kyle McCord has transferred away, so
I'm probably going to take Missouri, just to be honest.
because Missouri has more of the more recognizable players. A lot of this has to do with the opt-outs.
Yeah, a lot of you. Again, the opt-outs and the Neil programs and the going to the NFL next year has taken a lot of it away. These aren't, again, the same teams that we saw all year long, but I still think Missouri doesn't get here that often, so they probably really want to play this game. They
Despite their head coach-
really want to win this game.
I might be biased a little bit, but I think the head coach for Missouri might be a little egotistical
Oh.
at times.
I am not a Drinkowitz fan. I'll just put that out there on the table. You can read it. I am not a Drinkowitz fan.
The only thing he could prove to me is if he keeps this up instead of it being a 1-year blip.
Honestly, I think it might be more because he's not calling the plays for them anymore.
And little Kellen Moore's brother
Yeah,
is calling the plays.
Kellen Moore, the coordinator for the NFL, his little brother took over play calling this year for Missouri, and they went from a mediocre team into a pretty good team like that without Drinkowitz calling the offensive plays anymore.
Having a good running back, Cody Schrader's still there, I think.
So as long as Drinkowitz keeps his ego out of the offense and lets other people run it,
then Missouri is better for it.
Missouri will be better for it. But I do think that Missouri might want this game a little bit more because Ohio State's really disappointed they didn't make the playoffs, and Missouri is super excited that they got where they're at. So you
want to pick Missouri?
I'm going to take a little bit of Missouri there. Jumping into Saturday, we got Ole Miss, Penn State in the Chick-fil-A
Peach Bowl.
Peach Bowl.
Oh, wait a minute. You want to do this? It's been a while. Big Game James.
Big Game James.
Against Big Game Lane.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a meme. It's a meme game.
Again, how many opt-outs have we had in these two games? How many?
Jeez. The only thing that's bigger game is the opt-outs.
Yeah. You can put all the opt-outs together from these games and have an all-star team. But Penn State's favored by 4.5 in this one. I think that's maybe a little bit too much. It is going to be a close game, but I like Ole Miss probably plus 4.5. The Ole Miss may even sneak out a win in this one because, again, I don't trust James Franklin
in the big games.
And the bigger games, no. One of the should be a playoff game according to everybody in Georgia and Florida.
Florida State and Georgia.
Florida State, Georgia, and Florida State in the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Georgia's Carson Beck is not opting out,
Nope.
but Florida State has plenty of their players opting out. But probably because of they have a huge beef against the playoff committee and ESPN right now. They've backed out of their ESPN deal. They've sued the playoff committee. The whole state of Florida is after them.
Yeah.
Like some sort of raging rioters.
Yeah. You want to know how bad this got? You want to know how much Georgia's favored by?
20.
20 points. How could a Georgia team, 12-1, be favored by 20 points over a unbeaten 13-0 team?
Probably because people see Georgia as a better football team. Like
I definitely think Georgia is a better football team. But man, it's almost like Florida State. According to Vegas betting line, Florida State has given up. If you're favored by 20 over Florida State at this point, Florida State is not even going to show up. They may just
protest the bowl game.
Walk out onto the field, turn around, and walk away, and not even play the game.
That's what they were rumored to do because they were so upset at the moment in time. I never seen such an uproar.
That is, if these two teams play, you got to take Florida State plus 20. I mean, surely if they show up to play, they're not going to lose by 20 points, are they? Or are they all going to opt out and they got their third string out there playing Georgia? If they got their third string out there playing Georgia, Georgia will win by 20. See, this is a nuts year. It is, yeah. We are going to go ahead and cover our Tennessee Volunteers. They didn't finish inside the top 15, but we're still going to talk about them. Tennessee plays Iowa.
In the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
In the Citrus Bowl. Tennessee's favored by 6. Tennessee's starting quarterback
Joe Milton is not playing.
Is off
our whole entire secondary is gone.
Our whole entire secondary is gone. Our two starting running backs have opted out for the NFL draft, Wright and Small. So we're going to have our next year starting. Nico is going to be starting at quarterback. Simpson's going to be the starting running back.
All right. This is not only a big game for Tim Banks because the offense for Iowa is just pitiful right now.
Yeah, I was struggling scoring points, period.
And if he gives up more than 20 or like 27
I think it's 17. he shouldn't give up more than 17 to Iowa.
If he gives up 20 or 27, then I think it's time to talk about some hard questions.
Some hard questions
But
with him,
some
too, yeah.
harder questions needs to be asked about the
We've-
offensive
We've
coordinator.
got some young people in our offense now, like a true freshman quarterback starting the bowl game. I know he's more like a sophomore now because he's been through last fall plus this year, so he's an older true freshman. But
Joey Housel has to
Joey Housel's got to do something. Iowa's defense is
top notch.
numbers wise.
One of the best
One
in
of
the
the
country.
best in the country. Tennessee will probably struggle a little bit to score on those also. The only thing that I like is you give Heupel 3-4 weeks to work up some kind of system. He'll figure out a way to get the guys in the right positions. Housel just has to call the correct play.
But which he struggled with most of the year with
He has struggled.
consistent.
Now,
But-
everybody says Heupel calls the plays, but
Joey Housel has the title of OC.
Housel gets them into that situation. So, but Tennessee's favored by 6. I think Tennessee should pull that line. Tennessee's a way better team than what Iowa is. But again, we're doing a lot of backups, and I don't know. I didn't really do any research to see how many people have opted out of Iowa. But I'm sure they've had
Tennessee's
some.
passing offense obviously took a step back this year from all this stuff that's gone on.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa's pass defense is #1 in the country.
But
So we'll have to figure out a way to run the ball against
they have
it.
very little film on Nico, though.
Yeah, very little because we've only seen like a couple of quarters, maybe 1/4 of him.
Of him the entire year. So I was not going to have a lot of film on how to stop this offense. So we'll see. We got number 13 LSU taking on Wisconsin. LSU.
Without Jaden Daniels and
Without
without
Ja-
their offensive coordinator who's left to Notre Dame to take the same position.
Yep. So again, we are playing a juggling act here. I still think LSU is the better team. They're favored by 10. I think they should cover that. We got the Liberty Bowl.
Liberty.
The Fiesta Bowl with Liberty
And Oregon.
and Oregon.
Liberty is here, and I don't know how many times
Liber-
we've seen Liberty up here.
Liberty finished 13-0, so they earned
the-
earned their
Automatic qualifier for the highest ranked non-Power 5 team.
yes, they did. Liberty would have been in the playoffs, I guess, next year when they would be the 12th seed into the playoffs next year. They are playing Oregon, though. Oregon's going to way outmatch them. I think this is going to be.
Bo Nix is not opting out. He is going
He's
to.
going to play. This may be a 38-13 game.
This might be Duckmania
As-
all over again.
As much as Liberty has had a fantastic year, and I've got friends who went to Liberty and everything. Liberty is a great school. They're not Oregon football.
Yeah,
That's what it
Oregon
is.
has probably just outmatched them in talent and coaching. I think a lot of aspects.
All right, let's jump into the first 2 playoff games here. First of all, just to make a little argument for Florida State before this all gets going.
Okay. Watch out. Put the pitchforks down for a moment, guys.
Let's put the pitchfork. Florida State, the reason they say they didn't put Florida State in is why? They want the 4 best teams. Okay, you've got Alabama, Michigan, Texas, Washington. You're telling me Washington's better than Georgia?
No.
No. Well, then you don't have the 4 best teams in there. If you can put Washington in over Georgia, then you can put Florida State in over Alabama.
I can understand that claim.
But we've got the 4 teams. That's just a little shot for my Florida State friends out there. But again, if you put the 4 best teams in, it should be Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, and Texas. But we got Alabama, Michigan, Texas, Washington. So
I think
let's go
what's
ahead and
the
talk
most
about 'em.
important part is the healthiest team.
The healthiest
Not
team.
exactly the best team, which is kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, health means everything at this point in the year. If your star players are nicked up, twisted ankle,
It could cost you a playoff spot.
It can cost you a spot. Yeah. We got Alabama, Michigan. Michigan's favored by 2. I'm going to take Alabama.
Because Nick Saban is.
Nick Saban's had 3 weeks to figure out how to beat Michigan,
And Jim Harbaugh.
and they're not playing
is-
another SEC team. The only time he loses is against a future SEC team in Texas or
and
another SEC team.
team.
So.
Well, Jim Harbaugh is not a slouch. I think they'll play competitive, but
I
I
think
think
his-
Alabama will clinch it in the end.
Yes, I think they will. Even Bill O'Brien's gone. what's the name of the quarterback for Alabama? Milroe.
Jalen Milroe.
Did you see? Bill O'Brien didn't think
butt
he
chin.
should. Bill O'Brien told him he shouldn't have been a quarterback. That he needed to stop trying to play quarterback.
What a butt chin. No wonder why his offenses aren't good.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien's terrible. We got Texas, Washington. I'm taking Texas in this one. The line's 4. I'm going to take Texas big time in this one. I think we'll have a Alabama-Texas rematch for the national championship. We won't talk about the national championship game. We'll do a little bowl recap next week, and then we'll talk about the national championship games, the national championship game. So my call is the Alabama-Texas rematch. What do you think?
I would probably be the same with you.
Mm-hmm. There's a slight chance Michigan could clip Alabama because Michigan's not a bad team.
Definitely not.
So, we might have it. Now, watch it end up being Washington, Michigan. It'll be full opposite. But, hey, that's our picks for the bowls. Be sure to check out next week. We will recap these bowls, talk a little bit about what's going on, who's in, who's out, and do our pick for the national championship game. So be sure and check out with us. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking in with us. Thanks again for Severe TV for setting us up here in studio. Thanks again for Autographs Plus for sponsoring us. Be sure to check us out next week, and we will finish up college. We're going to finish up college football for the year.
Oh, that's just very disappointing.
Very disappointing.
The
Hey,
off season awaits.
And college basketball's on its way.
All right, it's college basketball is very anticipated. That will be next up on our list.
Yeah, so we'll see you next week.
See you next week.